Lydia Brown, Executive Secretary of the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council, says the two-day workshop is geared towards formulating guidelines that will stem the tide in combating some of the chronic diseases that are affecting people.
We're hoping to reach, the guidelines are really geared towards persons 2 years and older. And basically what it's doing, the focus a lot is on our local foods. Getting people to eat more local, because we recognize that when people eat a lot of food, a lot of the imported foods are a lot of processed foods, not just processed, but heavily processed foods. And so to direct the Grenadian public to move away from these type of foods and move back to some of our traditional foods.
Brown explained what the layout of the guidelines will entail.
We'll be looking at all of this, also showing people on the graphic. It will be displayed showing persons the proportion of food. Not that they have to have everything on the graphic on their plate at each meal, but it's actually divided, and based on the division and the size of the division, you will know which category of foods you should be eating more of, which category of foods you should be eating less of. And also the emphasis is on varying the foods that you eat.
Two consultants were on hand to assist with the process. Stephanie Lewis, Assistant Coordinator for the Food and Agricultural Organization and local consultant, added that having the message reach the targeted audience is important, and that's their focus at this time.
Yes, after the launch, and this is why this workshop is here today, because what is this workshop is focused on is dissemination of the information and implementation of the information. So you have working groups of persons here today who would sit down and decide how are we going to send it out to the community, how are we going to design the posters that it would reflect what the message and the graphic is and better persons would understand it, but also to who are we going to train, and where are we going to go in the private sector and the public sector, what are we going to do and to get the message out.
The FAO's representative, Veronica Molina, says in her duties in helping countries develop the dietary guidelines, she recognized the timeliness of this workshop since so many chronic diseases are prevalent. She explains what is necessary in developing the guidelines.
To develop the guidelines, we take into account all the information we have of the country, the health and nutrition problems, the food habits, the food availability, and what people actually do to eat. How do they choose their foods? Then we make the best recommendations to improve their diet, and we finish with a set of 8 messages and a graphic to help people to do better choices.
The Food and Agricultural Organization has provided technical and other support towards ensuring the full rollout of the dietary guideline. The launch of this guideline will take place in February of 2020. Christelina John, GBN News.